Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. It's Lune and I hope you're well. And if you're not, I hope you are well soon, as always. So let's just get right into the message today. So it's very interesting because this period of time, like after my last video, where I was talking about, I think I was talking about lunar eclipse energy and the 9/9 portal and everything. It is already September 24th now. So it's been a bit from then, and we just had a new moon in Virgo and a solar eclipse. So from that energy, it's like everything that was, I want to say that manifestations are starting to become more grounded, but in the grounding of a manifestation, it's not like, oh, here's the destination, here is what you wanted, and now it's easy, sunshine, rainbows, everything is perfect. Because the reality is that your manifestations, as you get them, it isn't that everything is going to be easy now once you have what you desire. In some cases, sure, but it's important to acknowledge that these things are to be sustained over time, right? Because we don't stay the same. We are always changing. And in that, now you may be capable of holding a manifestation, but it's really up to you to continue to sustain it. This is bothering me, my hair, see? Oh, interesting that I'm like, ooh, I want to fix that. It's that too. It's expecting that these things are going to be perfect when nothing is perfect, and to acknowledge that things are not perfect actually makes it easier to be able to experience these manifestations in their full capacity, in their full beauty, actually. So, I've also had the specific theme of insecurity coming up, which is very interesting. As you transition into new manifestations, there is a level of fear, doubt, and insecurity of, is this really mine? Is this really real? Can I sustain this? And that's just part of it when you're transitioning from one state of being or one reality of your life into another. Those are all very real and very normal feelings and, thoughts and everything. There's nothing abnormal about that. So to understand that, I feel, can be comforting. To know that, hey, what I'm feeling or thinking right now, even though it's uncomfortable, it doesn't have to dictate the reality of my situation and my life and the reality of your manifestations. Because I actually wrote this down. It says insecurity is the symptom of something deeper. And really what insecurity is it is a fear. As I said, it's a symptom, but it's literally just the result of deeper fears and deeper, I want to say, like from a psychological perspective, neural connections, neural memories that expect certain outcomes from certain experiences. And so if in the past you have experienced, let's say, someone betraying you, or being made fun of for, I don't know, doing certain activities like singing or something, like it could be anything. But if you have neural pathways, neural memories of certain emotions and outcomes from certain experiences or behaviors or connections, activities, then your brain is going to be afraid. It's going to come out in insecurity or fear or doubt. And especially when you are in the process of moving from being in that reality of that being like what you experience, like, oh, if I do this, then this is going to happen. Like, if I connect with this person, they're going to betray me. If I do this activity, I'm going to be made fun of. It is transitioning, in that transition from that being your reality into, oh, I can connect with this person, they're not going to betray me. Or I can do that activity and actually I won't be made fun of. Maybe people will actually acknowledge that what I'm doing is interesting or cool. You know what I'm saying? So you're transitioning from that to that right now. And the insecurity, if you are feeling that, is totally normal. And actually, the insecurity coming up is a doorway, it is a further doorway into reflecting on why it exists. And what can you do to confront your insecurities in ways that are productive and will actually help you move forward into your manifestations further and into a different way of being yourself further. So I wanted to just clarify that real quick. So I do have some cards, so we will get into it a little bit and see where it takes us. But I pulled some of these cards the other day and the rest of them right now. So usually that's how this works for me. So we have the Trout and Lily of the Valley, Purification. The Cat and Lavender, Independence. And the Cayman and Poppy, Dreams. So this is kind of interesting to me. So with Purification, Independence, and Dreams, I think that this transition, by confronting the insecurity, you are purifying your mind and your expectations of what could or will happen in order to reach your dreams. You are becoming, this is so interesting how this is coming through. You are becoming more independent of past neural memories, neural connections. You are rewiring them by challenging them, by confronting them, and saying, well, actually, I got this manifestation because I overcame this. I am in the process of becoming more grounded in a manifestation or becoming a different version of myself, becoming more independent, independent of my past experiences, of what I've been conditioned to think is all there is and all I can be. So there is a very deep transition and purification going on that is allowing you to become a stronger, more independent version of yourself as a sovereign being. And honestly, to have a clearer and cleaner mind that is more focused on what you really want versus what you were conditioned to believe that you wanted, or that made you believe you could not have what you wanted. So that is very interesting. And with dreams here, again, with what you want, I feel this purification really is allowing you to have a more clarified vision of what you desire in your life and what you no longer will accept. What you no longer will accept. I had this paradox kind of, I say paradox because it's kind of an interesting thing, right? So I wrote paradox. I wrote being afraid of certain outcomes, which in that fear, eventually reinforcing or encouraging that outcome subconsciously. So there is the potential for your insecurity to start controlling you and turning into thoughts and behaviors that had that outcome in the past or were associated with that outcome in the past, versus accepting that all possible outcomes are possible, but having a fixed attention or vision of a desired outcome despite those possible unfavorable outcomes, right? We have those two choices, and that's the paradox, right? At least in my mind, it feels very paradoxical because it's difficult to focus on a desired outcome when there is the possibility of unfavorable ones. But in that same sense, as much as an unfavorable outcome is possible, so is a favorable one. So it's important to make that distinction, right? Just because the negative is very strong and uncomfortable doesn't mean that it is the end all be all. You have the ability and the possibility to be in a reality that is more positive or is more enriching or is what you want versus one that is not. There are both possibilities for you. And the difference is that you do have a say in that. It is not all, I'm just going to be in a negative experience and I can't do anything about it. That might be the neural wiring. Feeling like you're out of control because maybe there were experiences where you weren't in control, where things happened around you that you literally, maybe you were a child, you couldn't control it. And so now these fears and doubts are manifesting, the insecurities are trying to protect you, but at this point in time, all they're doing is holding you back. So it's really going through those insecurities, really going through the doubts and the fears, and being able to liberate yourself. Ooh, here we go. Ooh, interesting. Okay, so we have the Eight of Swords and the Nine of Wands. So that blindfolded person and that person who's very hesitant, kind of like, ooh, I'm doubting, or ooh, I'm like confused, uncertain, I'm scared, like I don't know what's gonna happen. Yes, this is possible. Like, it's normal to be hesitant and to be scared of potential outcomes, but when you take this off and you allow yourself to step forward and experience the Emperor in reverse, right? When you allow yourself to experience, you turn this right side up. You become the leader of your life versus a passive victim to it. Instead of staying a victim of your past experiences and your past neural memories, you can liberate yourself by choosing a different path and choosing a different way that you want to start thinking and being and feeling about yourself and your reality, because that is within your control to an extent. You can retrain your mind, you can retrain your brain specifically to be healthier. And in that renewed sense of health, you're going to be purified. You're going to have a clearer vision. You're going to be more yourself than you ever have been. So that's what I'm seeing for you specifically right now, if you are resonating with this. And I also wanted to, I've got a few more cards, so we'll go through it. We've got the Nine of Pentacles, which kind of goes with independence here for me. I think you're becoming more confident and comfortable in your independence despite fears, doubts, and insecurities. And what the result of that is the Sun and the Six of Pentacles, having a more reciprocal relationship with yourself and others that feels more balanced. That more, honestly, like kind of a balance between connecting with people and being independent. I think that if you struggle with codependency, that might be a big theme for you right now. And the result, the Sun. This happiness, this joy, this ability to be yourself instead of the pre-programmed version of yourself that you thought you could not escape, that you thought was predetermined and predestined forever for you to be that way. No, we are changing, evolving beings, always. There is no one way to be. There is no one version of yourself that you will always be. Whether that's comforting or not, I don't know. It's pretty comforting to me, though, to know that I can change and evolve and have what I desire if I so choose and if I believe. If I take the steps to get there. And I feel that is what you are doing. So I'm very proud of you for that. And just get these three other little cards here. I love these little cards. The Gatekeeper, let go, all things are possible on the borderlands. Like I said, there are multiple possible outcomes for you. They could be negative, they could be positive. But which ones are you intent on reinforcing? The negative or the positive? the more you put the focus into the positive despite the fear of the potential negative, the more likely you're going to get the positive. It may not occur, the positive may not even occur in the way you expected, but it will occur if you set your focus on that, even though there is maybe outside evidence or potential outcomes around you that may be what you don't want. That is possible. Keep the vision, though. It was interesting because I was reading something, and it was talking about how people in history who had these crazy visions of how they wanted things to be or how they believed things could be, they only got there and they only became so influential because they believed in something they could not see yet. That saying, seeing is believing, well, actually, no. Well, it's really believing is seeing. When you believe something so wholeheartedly, you will begin to see it. Focus so diligently on it that it becomes real. Because if you can think it, if you can dream it, if you can be in that in your mind, it is a possible potential to be in your life. And any evidence of that is your current manifestations. Okay, because maybe there are things in your life now that you could never imagine that you would have had, or you did imagine that you could have them. You just were like, oh, well, maybe I won't. And maybe you came to a place of acceptance of maybe I will have this, maybe I won't, and that is exactly when you got it. Because you didn't put an expectation on how or when, so you got it. Continue with that. It works. Clearly it works. And the gnome of mushrooms and buttons seeks silliness and joy. They are wise teachers. And find the mandragora mother. Find the secrets hidden in the brambles. So honestly, I feel that the most wisdom that you will get right now is from allowing yourself to be playful, allowing yourself to, enjoy where you're at and what you're experiencing. Not only focusing on fear, doubt, insecurity, but focusing on what's going right, what's feeling good. And as the more you lean into that, the more that it will reinforce, again, with your neural connections, the more it will reinforce that as your reality, as a more common state of being that you experience if that is what you desire. And find the secrets hidden in the brambles. It's like, again, with the insecurity, that confronting the insecurity, when you face your fears, when you see the root cause of insecurity, doubt, fear, when you see the root cause of it, it takes away its power. It won't control you as much. So find those secrets, find those root causes of the negative thought loops, the negative experiences, because that is how you will reframe that to reflect something that you do desire that is more positive. Yeah. That is what I am getting. So I really hope that this was helpful. And I had a lot of fun doing this reading. So I hope you had fun being here. And yeah, I hope you're well. And if you're not, I hope you are well soon. And I will see you in the next video. Goodbye.